What is going on, Twerka? Welcome back to the channel. Let's talk about it. So, as always, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. It's just for your entertainment purposes. Last time, where did we leave off? We said with a float this big, expect a reverse split as far as with the outstanding shares and with the price point and what they were trying to do. And we got that reverse split. Gonna be 25. Right, 1 for 25. So you can just go ahead and divide whatever you're holding by 25, and that should be the amount of shares that you have. And whatever price this closes out at, you can multiply that by 25, and that should be the opening price. I got a couple of rules. Reverse splits aren't my thing. Most of the time they aren't very beneficial, so I'm not looking for this reverse split to do a whole lot for us right out the gates. If you've been around anything that has done a reverse split, most of the time you know how that unfolds. But I guess the good thing is we're still hoping that there could possibly be that buyout potential. And any company that was wanting to probably buy them out, I do think a reverse split was going to be in any kind of offers that would have been out there, because who wants to buy a float of 700, 800 million shares that's trading under $1? Not very many people, because they're going to have the same problem that TRKA was. How do they get back to compliant, and how are they going to change things over? Are they going to screw over their investors right out the gates whenever they do a reverse split on them? So it needed to happen before a buyout would happen, and it could be just another thing that kind of pushes this in the right direction in time. Also, it could be very bad, and we could just be holding the stock for a very long time and watch it dwindle and dwindle. So, there's no hopium in either direction, but I did expect it, and it did happen. So that's where we stand. If if you saved yourself, if you protected your accounts to the downside in the meantime, congratulations, good for you. If you ignored your trading plan, okay, lesson learned. And this is why you don't go full throttle into any one security, especially whenever you're playing something risky. We knew as the time went on, it became a little bit more and more risky as every day that went by and nothing happened. CEO wasn't telling us anything. No news was coming out. So what are we looking at? We had the $70 million at the market offering, I believe is what it was. I'm going from memory. I did not go back and look at all of this stuff, but I do believe 70 million. So it's a dollar price. It's not a share amount. Let's assume that there was no shares sold for the at the market offering as of yet. So they still got $70 million worth that they could technically sell into the market. 25 split, what's the float? 700 and something million. So we're looking at probably somewhere around a 30 million float. If this opens up, if we can hold, who knows, 10, 12 cents, you're going to open up somewhere 250, 350 range, somewhere in there. What does that mean to get to 70 million? They could sell a whole lot more shares. So the float's going to look small at the beginning, but if the at the market is not done, I was really hoping that they would just come out and announce right before market closes that the at the market was over, or even bright and early that the at the market is over, completed, and then we would know that there wouldn't be further dilution after this reverse split. But until we get that news, there could and probably will be further dilution after the reverse split. Good news is if they do it after the split, they're not having to flood the market with as many shares. Down here, obviously, to get to $70 million worth of shares sold, they have to sell a whole lot, increase the float a whole lot. If it's higher and they get aggressive right out the gates, they aren't going to have to unload as many shares, but what it's going to do is really hurt the share price. And it's going to probably get a little bit ugly even right out the gates, if that's what they want to do. What's the smart thing to do? I think they should unload some whenever the share price is high after that reverse split, if they can, and as a shareholder, I would rather see them not do that. But if their goal is to raise 70 million, I'd rather see them do it sooner than later, just to keep that float as small as possible and not have to worry about everything that's going to go on. Obviously, the shorts will probably jump in after the reverse split. A lot of times shorts do come in because they know what happens whenever a company does a reverse split. But what we're hoping is Jefferies is doing something behind the scenes, and this is part of a negotiation deal. Don't be dead set on that. Don't be locked into that theory. It's, just something that has a little bit of weight behind it, but we still are clueless as to what's going to happen. And you definitely don't want to be betting on something that you think is going to guarantee to happen and to change this whole game. It doesn't. It never has to happen if it doesn't want to happen. So keep that in mind. As we were watching today, we had a nice little spike in the right after close. Nice run back to about 17 cents. We're on Webull because we got the after hours movement going on, and TradingView's not going to pick all of that movement up for me. So the trend lines and everything, TA's not going to make a bit of difference, I don't think, as far as what we're going into tomorrow morning. So don't worry too much about numbers right now. We'd obviously like to see it as high as possible by closing, just to see what kind of price we can open up at, and how much room we have before we get driven back down. So I don't know. Could be one of those things. Maybe we'll see a rush for some of the shorts to get out there at the end of the day before close. Maybe we'll see them pile in tomorrow. Who knows? Keep an eye on it, but have a trading plan, because if I don't know, maybe you're holding 10 or 15,000 shares, well, you're gonna be holding somewhere around 400 to 600 shares, and I don't know what your price point is, but it's going to have to go quite a ways for me to be able to get out. I did play this through. Like I said, I'm not all in full tilt by any means, and I'm not overly concerned about it at the moment, what it does to me, because it's not going to make or break me either way. It's just one of those plays that we've been talking about, and I play them along with anything that I'm talking about. Had a nice trade on Mike's a week or two ago, and so I put that stock trading profit into trka late today. Got like 1203 fill, I believe. So that helped my average tremendously. I don't know if that was the right call. I probably should have waited till days after and seen how it played out. But I thought maybe if there was a pump, and that it was profit from another trade anyway. So I had to do what I had to do to try to get a little bit better average. And there's probably going to be more opportunities. So don't copy me. Don't do what I did. Doesn't mean that I'm right. I don't know what this is going to do. I just figured I would go ahead and play along. So Ortex, obviously this data is all going to be skewed again after they do the reverse split. We haven't known if we can believe it or not. And again, we're not going to know if we can believe it or not as the days go by. But according to Ortex, it's not heavily shorted. 2.89%, had a little bit of an increase there. 10.85 million live short interest. Cost to borrow average is low enough to make me think that it's not heavily shorted. I mean, it's not cheap. It's not free by any means. There is a decent fee there, but I don't know. We'll see. Utilization 93.17%. So we'd like to see that get maxed back out again. I guess if you're in it for a short squeeze, I'm not. I'd rather just see a buyout with a really nice price. But again, what price is the company going to pay? We're probably going to be sitting back around that market cap after the reverse split of what we kind of anticipated TRKA was worth several months ago whenever we were talking about it. So we got to keep that in mind as well. Going to be interesting. We'll try to check back in tomorrow or Friday just to see how it plays out after the reverse split happens, and what the price action's doing. Again, don't think everything has to go to the moon. If you see a chance to make your trade, then obviously you probably would want to make your trade. RSI is warmed up a little bit finally after the massive sell-off, but still has some room to go. We're still trapped below the 9 on the 5-minute. We're way below the 9 on the 30-minute. Hour way below. So yeah, we've been pretty heavily oversold, which is expected whenever news like this comes out. People are going to want to get out. So let's see if we can make a little bit of a correction. But like I said, reverse splits, in my opinion, in my history and what I've observed, they're never good. So let's hope that this one's different. Let's hope that Jefferies has a plan. Let's hope that one of those companies that are interested said, hey, we're not taking it with this massive float, so you got to do something about that, and then maybe we'll get a little bit more serious. So that's our hope right now. That's what we can think about if we're trying to create a narrative or a thesis as to how this could actually turn around. Otherwise, if none of that happens, it's just a penny stock that has been reverse split to stay compliant and may continue to get hammered down. So I hope you guys had a good day in the markets. I hope you're making money somewhere else. I hope you're not all in on this one so that you can continue to play and trade, because we don't like to be spectators in the market. We like to be actively trading. That's how you make your money. Otherwise, you're just watching a line on a screen, and if you've been watching this line on the screen, you're not enjoying your time in the markets because you're all in and you have nowhere to go and you have not made a decision and you have not stuck to your trading plan. So let's go from there. I hope I can catch some positive action maybe by the end of the week. I'll try to check back in with you guys, and we will go from there. As always, stay golden, people, and may your accounts stay green.